Friday,
Yeah.
I'm subbing for Lubie, who's off in Spain, and had to come back and tell me how great Spain was. And how, like, oh, you really need to go to Spain, Ken. You would love Spain. On the same fucking day where Trump announces he's going to let Elon computerize all airplanes. Like, have you been on fucking Twitter? You're letting this man now control your lives with airplanes. The best case scenario is that fucking Sophie Rain is going to be walking up and down the aisles selling her OnlyFans on every airplane. And if you don't understand that Sophie Rain reference, you should thank God, because everybody who's been on Twitter in the last 2 years does. But the way Elon runs fucking Twitter, you want to let this man now be in charge of your actual life by getting on an airplane? There is no way I'm going to Spain. There's no way I'm going anywhere. I would rather take the goddamn Bright Line in terms of safety. And it kills like 4 people a day, but at least they're outside the train. It's not the passengers.
Not a great idea to stop on the tracks. We would have to agree with that.
I 1,000%. I don't want to get on the Bright Line either. But compared to airplanes right now, it seems like the safest ride in the history of history.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest. We got Mike Lubitz with us, and happy to have you guys along for the ride. Later on, we go old school with Tony Segreto, the great Tony Segreto. Ed Garcia from Texas Roadhouse Restaurants will be joining us as well. Start picking his brain for the draft. Lubie, is it too early to do draft? Now, we'll have our draft experts on the show tomorrow. Let's see. It's February 12th, ladies and gentlemen. Post time for these guys that are working on a roof in this trap of a condo that I'm living in, which my brother advised me. He told me never buy a condo.
Yeah.
And you were thinking, okay, well, what's the big deal? I mean, it's basically a townhouse. It just happens to be under the auspices of being a condo. That couldn't be any worse. You're a realtor, a licensed realtor, Lubie.
I am.
Now, what are these homeowners association people doing with your money? I came to the meeting last night, Lubie, and literally,
good for you.
The head guy was wearing a ski mask and a gun.
Yeah, no, it's
I had to put all my valuables on the table, whatever little pittance I had left after the green job that they're doing. And then you would think maybe they would take a little bit of a poll on what time they should start working on the roof. Now, I've been nursing a little bit. I don't like to complain about not feeling well because, let's face it, you guys don't care if I'm feeling well. It's on me, right? I mean, yeah, I'm sure you're rooting for me. Yeah, Defo, but you're not trying to evoke sympathy here. It always, I don't know. Does it weird you out a little bit when a guy comes on the air and goes, "Oh man, I'm fucking sick as a dog. I shouldn't even."
Yeah, no, I don't care.
And you're picturing snot balls going on the microphone, and the guy's going to be just a complete wreck. And let's face it, if you're not doing these shows with a little bit of inebriation, ingested, you're probably not going to be a whole lot of fun to listen to or watch, right, Lubie? So now you combine that with cold medication, and it's a fucking bug that I don't even think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has experienced. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has experienced it. So it's great. So you definitely want to be there, but you'll have a lot of guys. I don't know. Does it just seem like it's wimpish when somebody comes on the air and just starts complaining? Oh, I'm not feeling good today. I have this, I have that. I don't know. I mean, it was odd, but here I am doing it anyway. So. I ended up yesterday, and this was you would have enjoyed this. Chris Perkins, man. Chris is not afraid to hammer the Miami Dolphins.
Oh no,
and not that would be uncommon. I mean, should there always be? I mean, you don't want it to be contrived, but should there always be? And it doesn't, I guess, have as much impact anymore. Some adversarial reporter that just every move the organization makes, no matter what organization it is, for the most part, people are going to be poo-pooing it. When you even have people that defend what the Marlins are doing, is there anybody out there that says, "Oh, hey man, you know what? This rebuild is really going well." What rebuild? What the fuck are they building? They're building a condo right now. It's a brick, absolutely awful. But Chris is not afraid to go ahead and say that he thinks that what the Dolphins are doing is atrocious, and he'll roll in and face Mike McDaniel. And confront him with this kind of line of questioning. And McDaniel is the kind of guy, I guess, that would stand there and respond as opposed to just look at the guy and then motion over to the PR guy and go, "I want Perkins out of here." But anyway, it kind of hit me yesterday as I'm doing this interview. All of a sudden, I'm in like a coughing fit. You witnessed a few of those, Lubie.
I have.
So I realized, okay, I try to shake it off as if there's nothing bothering me, but I realized, okay, I'm a little bit on the impaired side, but nothing compared to what the Mustang is experiencing. Where literally yesterday, I had to remind her that the 3 knockdown rule was in effect. Wow, I mean, is she out of it? Remember when Wilder knocked down Tyson Fury in the 12th round of their first fight, and you thought nobody's getting up from that? And all of a sudden, Fury, not only does he get up, what the hell drugs was that guy on? Tyson Fury. Good guy, too. I mean, very interesting interview. We had him once on the air before he fought Wilder the second time, and he was great. Couldn't have been, I mean, as clear cut a definitive sports interview as I've ever had about strategies and things like that. It was fantastic. But and here we go, Olivia. I might need you to pick it up here.
I'm here. Yeah, you do what you gotta do. Yes, he literally joined us and gave his of what he would do next, and then did that exact thing. Like, actually,
you might have to play the cut a couple of times.
Pretty it's pretty prescient.
Sorry.
In front of all of us.
One little thing there. Anyway, so these roofing people. Give me another second, Louie, and I'll correct this.
Yeah. Go for it. You can go lay down. I can just do.
A lot of fun for people to watch, I'm sure. But anyway, in fact, let's throw a little break in here.
Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll come back.
I'll clear this up, and then we'll come back and pick up that thought. So we're back in a moment. Now that
the time,
it's 8:13.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage.
Las Vegas, Nevada, where Saturday night, this man will challenge Deontay Wilder for the heavyweight championship of the world. We present the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. From the looks of things, new trainer, new methods. It does look like you're in the best shape of your life. Why the changes, especially since you looked so good against Deontay Wilder the first time?
You know, I've come a different approach to this fight this time. Last time, we didn't get the decision we was looking for and for draw. So this time we've changed things up a bit. We're going to switch the gears and we're going to knock him out this time to make sure we get the right decision this time. So I had the trainer last time. He was good. He didn't do anything wrong. We just needed a bit of more offense. So we brought in a more attacking trainer this time rather than defensive. So yeah, it should be a different fight completely.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
That was fun. Well-timed break there, Louie. All right, so you heard from Tyson Fury. We brought that up. I don't know how that came into the equation there. But, yeah, I mean, a guy that was actually, well, it was the knockdown. And that was the thing with the Mustang. I mean, she was knocked down just like that. And you saw, you witnessed. I mean, I'm feeling okay, and that's what happened to me. So it's pretty wicked. And as if a designated post time is 8 a.m. at this meeting, they're working on the roof, and they immediately start with like jackhammers at 8 a.m. Bedrooms are upstairs in this place, and it's rather unfortunate. I mean, like dust and remnants and all kinds of stuff that would induce mesothelioma all of a sudden. A book that they've been advertising for 20 years. There must be just a pile of cash waiting for mesothelioma victims, right? They keep talking about it. How long has that ad been running, Lubie?
Years. Like a decade.
Does anybody have it that you know?
I don't know. I still don't know really what it is.
It comes from asbestos. In fact, didn't Dan Blocker, Hoss Cartwright, and was he in the Little House? Who was in the Little House on the Prairie? Who was the guy in Little House on the Prairie? What was that? The guy from Gunsmoke? No, it was Merlin Olsen.
Merlin Olsen.
He checked out. Who knew that the Little House on the Prairie was laced with asbestos? All right, sorry for the coughing fit. I got a lot of health advice here on the chat line, which is nice. Andy says start gargling with ginger zinc and turmeric. But we will be free. I mean, when Kennedy gets approved as the head guy in the health department, I think his first order of business will be to eradicate and get rid of all disease.
There you go.
There you go. It won't be an issue anymore. All right, a bunch of stuff here on the sporting front. Tony Segreto is going to join us in a few minutes. And once again, my apologies because I wasn't expecting to just catch one right in the face there coming right out of the chute. Thought I could kind of control things and make my way through. But here I am, and I don't mean to be whining about like health issues because, like I said, it's not my bag. I really don't care for that. All right, this is weird, Lubie, and I don't know if I have this correct. And I double-checked it and triple-checked it. That doesn't mean that it still has validity. Is it possible, Mike Lubie Lubitz, that tonight on the sporting schedule, all 30 NBA teams will be in action? And how infrequent of an occurrence is that, if it's true? I'm looking on the schedule. I see like 15 games. Is that possible? 15 games, including your Miami Heat. And it's unfortunate, too, because the fact when your team is not involved, other than in what was kind of a silly, I mean, was it really all that interesting of a drama? Scoop Skolnick brought out all kinds of things. I guess if you follow these NBA soap opera-like storylines about players that aren't happy somewhere and whether they want to go somewhere else and who they want to run with, which was not an uncommon thing, Lubie. How many times did you rig a team so you could run with your buddies? Is it something that we should take a hostile viewpoint of with NBA players, Lubie? How many times did you do it? You show up at the park with your three friends, you see another guy that you're comfortable playing ball with, and you say, "Hey, you want to run with us?" And that's it.
Yep.
Very common at the NBA level because it's a business and is controlled by other people. The destinations of these players, I guess. It would be kind of interesting if you could just, well, why don't they just, choose up sides? That would be great. But you would see everybody wanting to gravitate towards certain teams. And, it would obviously be very bad for the so-called balance of the league if everybody could just pick their playing partners. But, the whole thing about being disgruntled with Jimmy Butler, how old did that get, Lubie? It was tiring, that story, wasn't it?
It seemed like around the league they cared more than down here. I mean, maybe weird Heat fans did. I got over it pretty quickly. It was either he's going to get his act together or you trade him. I mean, I got sick of talking about it. Like it's turn the page, move forward. Whatever this group's going to be, let's see it. Nationally they kept making it a story. So I don't know if around the country they were bored and they needed something. There wasn't a lot of drama in the NBA early in the season. I don't know. I just know down here I didn't care. Scoop the other day, he said a lot more things than I thought I would care about. Like, he talked about the machinations a little bit in a way that I didn't realize. So it made it a little bit more interesting. But in the process, I just wanted it done. It was like, dude, either play because you're getting paid $50 million or he keeps sitting him. Like, I just didn't, it just got really old really fast.
Well, and it also appeared to be somewhat inconsequential because the Heat weren't a title contender with Jimmy Butler, and they certainly aren't without him. And not that that's any bold statement or observation, but
True.
it struck me this morning as I was thinking about, well, okay, so where's this team at? And it appears where they're at is just Pat Riley staring into the sky. And we love Pat. I don't mean this in any kind of disparaging way. It's weird when your team is being predicated and their future on a dream that may be in the category of pipe dream.
Yeah.
Which is looking to the sky, and Riley is envisioning Giannis Antetokounmpo coming out there in one of those weird Miami Vice configurations. How many different uniforms does each team have? I know it's all about selling merchandise, Lubie. It's not like we're stupid here, but yeah, you're stupid. You're stupid. You don't get it. I didn't get that halftime show. I mean, I can't believe how much. Think about this: if it was the art was creating the so-called aftermath conversation, then this guy really killed it, man. I mean, no doubt about it. Now, I guess the other side of that whole argument. Just to throw in a little parenthetical here in the middle of talking about what a mess the Miami Heat might be. They're not really a mess is the problem. They're just
they're okay. I mean, that's just what they are. They're okay.
Bagel, no cream cheese. What? You're out of cream cheese?
Yeah, they're okay.
Would you like butter on that? No. I'll just eat it plain. Is that where we're at? It's still a good bagel.
Better than that. Like that would be to me 8 to 10. They're in the 5 to 8. And
how though? I mean, with what? It just doesn't seem like.
I mean, the East isn't good. So
I've been a Tyler Hero fan.
They're right there with the Hawks and the Magic and the Pacers and the Knicks are better right now than them. I mean, if they can get some sign-in players, they're not that far behind the Knicks. There's really two teams in the East right now. It's the Cavs and the Celtics. I mean, the rest of the Bucks are interesting because you have a Giannis. So I sort of put them in this weird category where the Heat actually may end up.
That's our only hope, Lubie, is that the Heat land Giannis.
100%. Well, Giannis or Anthony
Edwards. And that's the thing. I mean, it's kind of like you think of a girl that you knew in the distant past, and all of a sudden she surfaces on Facebook, and 60 years later she still looks okay. Well, 50, and you're thinking, what happened there? How did I whiff on this? Is that the way Riley's going to go out the door? Having whiffed on Giannis, and what are the chances that this guy ends up in a Heat uniform?
I don't know.
Is that all we have to lay our hat on? I mean, are we looking for the draft somewhere at 50? What's going to happen, Lubie?
I mean, look, they've accrued a lot of nice young players, and they can be fun to watch. And with Ware and Bam and Hero,
does this Ware become a monster, or is he just teasing us right
I
now?
think he'll become like the other two. I think he can become an possibly maybe all-star-ish kind of player. I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think he's a number one. And I think that's what they're missing. I think they should be a playoff kind of team, and I think they could be that going forward again. They'll have room to make some kind of look. Wiggins maybe can find old form and solidify them in that 4 to 6 range as opposed to 5 to 8 range. They are hoping something falls into their lap, like Jimmy Butler fell into their lap. I don't know if it will. They've tried the last 4 years for that, and it didn't happen. I don't know. It's Giannis and Anthony Edwards. Those are the two that they're looking at. Can they get either? I don't know. Anthony Edwards, I think they can. I don't know if Riley will still be here because Anthony Edwards may be 2 years down the road. Yeah. Giannis is weird because if the Bucks are a 5 or a 6 seed, like there's no reason for him to stay there. Like it's a boring market to live in. And they're not winning, and they're capped out, and they haven't been good at drafting. Like, you went and got Damian Lillard, and you didn't get better. So
remember how hokey that game was we went to in Minnesota? Like, didn't it feel weird, the crowd? It just did, Lubie. Did it feel like you were going to an NBA basketball game? It was their big rivalry game, Minnesota versus Milwaukee. And it was like you were lining up going to the circus as a kid or something.
I mean, they had a nice crowd and they got excited, but it was boring. Like I don't know. Well,
stupid sound effects they used there with the wolf, ooh, whatever that is. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was on the Andrea Gale sailing out to the Flemish Cap. It just seemed odd. By the way, speaking of that, I did a little research, Louie. You'll be happy to know this before the show. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what are the hot basketball towns with this full slate of NBA games, Louie. And the way I'm going to judge this, the barometer I'm going to use, of course, is the price of available tickets. Is that a fair measuring stick for level of interest in a team and or the team that represents your city? Remember you used to go like to a bar somewhere? Oh, well, you probably didn't experience this so much because there wasn't that much going on when you were a kid in South Florida. But, when you'd be hanging out with some friends, maybe even at the track, and say, "Oh, good man, we're up a couple of hundred. Why don't we go see like the Knicks tonight or the Rangers?" And you could go down to the arena and buy a ticket for a reasonable amount of money. I mean, you were getting scalp tickets at under face value if you waited till the puck was dropped for the opening period. So I don't know. Is that a fair barometer? The available price of tickets, because New Orleans would be like the last place on the planet that you would want to play basketball. Surprisingly, and I guess you turn into a basketball if you're playing basketball in New Orleans, because you think Zion Williamson is hitting the streets there, Bourbon Street, having a couple of balls of souffle.
Yeah, exactly.
Something, anything. Give me anything souffle, my friends. So I mean, it wouldn't be. I guess it would be a fun city. I would have not an entertaining city for a basketball player, because a lot of stuff is happening in a very compact area. So. And it seems like the kind of town where even with large celebrity status, they leave you alone, right?
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't give a shit. They're all fucking shit-faced drunk.
Yeah, they don't care.
Pelicans tickets, if you wanted to go see the Pelicans and the Kings. Kings favored by 5 points against the Pelicans on the road tonight. One of 15. A complete, is that really true? Complete slate of NBA
games? Last game, Andy said it. I think this weekend's All-Star weekend.
Okay. All right. So makes some sense. But I mean, this is a Wednesday night slate here.
Yeah.
$1. Tickets as low as $1. Now, why even bother? At that point, why don't you just give the guy the fucking tickets?
You probably have to charge something.
They're like a fee for sending them.
Exactly.
Pay a small percentage of your electric bill because the guy had to like wire him to you on a computer. The mecca of basketball clearly would be New York City, Lubie. If you want to see the Knicks and the Hawks tonight, 120, lowest available ticket. 120.
Wednesday.
That's just sitting a nosebleed at the Garden there, where you're thinking, is that Gump Horsley down there? I can't really make out who it is in the paint. Heat tickets tonight. The Heat are on the road against the Thunder. They're like $4 or something like that. That's in Oklahoma City.
Well, it's Oklahoma City, and the Heat are in watch right now. No one knows what to think about them.
Like, if you went to the arena to see the Heat, are you really going out of your mind thinking, I can't wait to see what Tyler Hero does tonight? Is that what you're saying, Lubie? They don't have
that's the thing is Hero's
quality.
Hero's not a national player, and Bam, as good as he is, like he's like heart hustle, do everything right guy. He's not guy you go to watch.
Yeah. He sort of exacerbates you. I mean, you get not exacerbates, exasperates you.
Yes.
Word, right? I mean, they're flipping around the words. Okay, because I mean, just when you think he's fucking rolling, all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, he'll make one of those mystery plays, right, where he gets the ball and then doesn't ever face the basket, just like passes it back out.
Goes right away. Yep.
You're like, what is that?
Yep.
You're supposed to put your head down and drive to the basket.
Yeah, to the basket.
Steal fucking O'Neal.
Exactly.
In his prime, before he got fat. All right, we're going to come back with more in a moment. We made it through that segment, so that was good. Close. I mean, a couple of times there, I was on the ropes, so Lubie taking some punches. Tony Segreto is going to join us, so go old school with Tony Segreto. I do have a little bit of mock draft input, Lubie, if you want to get into your mock draft already. Have you drawn yours up yet?
Oh, no, it's February.
More Titans. I mean, is that a gift? If you bet that, could you possibly lose?
Oh, Cam Ward, number 1.
Cam Ward, number 1, Tennessee.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, if you're the Titans, you need a quarterback, and he's probably the best one.
It's a given, isn't it? We'll see what Tony thinks when we come back in a moment. Know that. That was only a half hour. It seems like a day and a half. So 8:30.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-4...
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
All right, welcome back to the show on a Wednesday morning, and it's always a pleasure to welcome this gentleman, iconic broadcaster. I would have to say I put up a picture on Facebook, on my Facebook page of Tony sitting at a table at Gulfstream Park as I was coming in. Mike Mayo snapped a little shot of us, and wow, I mean, it was heartening to see the reaction that this particular item brought on social media. Usually, I mean, you're going to get a few people saying, who the fuck is that? You know, he was a jerk off. Nothing of the kind, Tony. You are so well respected. That was a thing that really ignited a spark there on social media. So how are you? You're looking great, my friend.
I feel good. I feel ready to go. Good morning, Lubie. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Segreto. How are you, my friend?
I'm just fine and dandy.
Good.
All right, very good. We'll give you your opportunity here. I did a little Super Bowl postscript yesterday with Chris Perkins on Bleacher Brothers, a conversation show that I was also coughing my way through, which was very unfortunate. And
you don't feel well, do you?
I mean, I'm okay. It's not like I'm. The Mustang, as I mentioned earlier, already has invoked the 3 knockdown rule. And we're going to the scorecards on her. I mean, she's out cold. But
really,
I'm functioning. It just certain times talking. You know how it goes. Did you ever have that? Did you ever end up in I mean, it's happened to me many times on the radio. Where I came in working, and my work ethic is surprisingly, even though everybody thinks of me as some lazy fat slob, my work ethic, I always thought I prided myself on, and Lubie knows this. I didn't care what the circumstances, I was showing up. I know you were like that too.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be that way in the media.
The only time that I panicked was I had the hiccups. And
That'll do it. Yeah.
I had them since 2:00 in the afternoon. It was going on 5:30, and I was a nervous wreck. And I did everything. I called doctors. I did everything. And at 5:45, they stopped. I did my show, and at 6:30,
came right back. Wow,
came right back.
That's crazy, man. That's like a zit popping out before you have your big time first date with your the girl that you coveted in high school. You've been fantasizing about this woman since 3rd grade. You finally have your opportunity, and then right in the middle of the forehead. Wow, what do you do about that? Yeah. It's hard to cover that up too, or say you nicked yourself shaving. But of course, you pulled like a Mel Tillis, where you're stuttering right up until the moment of truth, and then you belt out the national anthem and don't miss a beat.
I
scared
myself straight. I scared myself straight.
Yeah. No, I've had any number of. I mean, when you're doing 4 hours on the radio and you come in like sick as a dog, you're thinking, oh yeah, I'll work my way through this, and then it hits you, and it's all over. But being the consummate pro that you are, you would have found a way around it and tried to work it out. All right, so what did you think? I want to say that you were on the side of the Chiefs going into this game. Were you not?
I was. I really wanted to see a 3-peat, but I wasn't married to it.
All right.
I was hoping for a good game. I didn't get it. I was hoping for an exciting game. Didn't get it. But I was happy for Jalen Hurts. I was happy for him for so many reasons. He suffered. He suffered through so much, and he came out on top. And he was most valuable player. And all the credit to him. All the credit to him. He was just on the Today Show.
Yeah,
and as humble as he could be.
Very impressive, this guy.
Very, very impressive.
The aftermath of the Super Bowl, he really was. It was one of those things too, because I never buy into this, Tony. I don't know how you feel about it. And Lubie, I'm not sure where he stands either. Where I mean, everybody has their own motivational triggers and things that ignite them. I never was a big proponent of the idea that the whole chip on his shoulder thing. But it did appear that if you were going to play with the so-called, hey, people abandoned me, they took me out of the championship game in Alabama, Nick Saban embarrassed me in front of zillions of people, and then what happens? Not only does he take me out, he seemed to handle that very well at the time, though.
Yes, he did.
And yeah, the way he comported himself, if he's not the biggest fucking phony in the world, this guy is a great guy.
He's a great, great guy. He's as humble.
He's everything you would want to be from a mental standpoint. You could see why
everything.
He's a winning player. I also like that about him. I think you have to say maybe not the prototype of anything, right? I mean, is he the best running quarterback? No, but he's very good. Is he the best throwing quarterback? Not by any means, but he manages to make some great throws. I mean, he put 2 balls in on the money in that game that were just absolutely fantastic.
That was right on. Right. I mean, all the guy had to do was hold his arms up and say, "Oh, where is it? There it is."
Well, a margin for error. I mean, the Chiefs guy on that Devontae Smith throw, which was as they always say, well, that was the only place he could have thrown the ball where his guy could have caught it. But the Chiefs defensive back has an arm on the ball. I mean, it's right there. Margin for error was like 0.0, and he managed to make it work. So, yeah, I was happy for him. I thought that was great. The usual postscript, Tony, includes what do the Chiefs need to do to rebuild, and do they need to tear the whole thing apart? And of course, how is it that Philadelphia now is the team? And if you think about it, I mean, this is a weird one. Philadelphia lost 6 of their last 7 last year, and then was 2-2 to start the season. So they're basically on a 3-8 run before they started getting it together.
Nick Sirianni was on the hot seat. Really?
Yeah, they wanted to get rid of him
in the middle of the season. We're going to get rid of him.
There was that conversation.
Anyway.
I mean, who was generating that, though? I mean, Philadelphia fans and media tend to be on that side of things, like extremists. No.
Yeah, I think next year is up for grabs. Whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's Kansas City rebuilding, whether it's Buffalo. I'd love to see. I hate to say this, but I'd love to see Buffalo get in it.
I think, you know what, Tony, that ship may have just.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with the Bills. Like, it feels like to me one of these days they're going to fall off a cliff. Like, their talent level on offense isn't good. Like, and I know Josh Allen is a magician, but like what the Ravens have, look, the Bengals to me are the most talented team. They just got to get their defense settled down. Like, I don't know what the hell happened to their defense this year. Like, if they can get any help on the offensive line and get their defense settled down. The Bengals are very reminiscent to what we saw from the Eagles, where they have a really strong running game, really top receiving talent, and an elite quarterback. It feels wide open is what it feels like. I'm curious to see what the Chiefs go and do, because it felt like they were sort of resting on their laurels, and now having Mahomes isn't enough. It just clearly isn't.
Yes, having Mahomes and Kelsey, and
they're aging out. Like they need to do a revamp.
Yeah. Kelsey might retire. I mean, he was no monster. They were decimated. The real amazing thing is how Philadelphia was able to assemble those 2 lines.
Yeah, their lines.
Some of it was with their own ingenuity.
Their offensive and defensive lines were spot on. I mean, they were great.
But they got lucky in a couple of spots, and then I'll give them credit because Mekhi Becton looked like a bust of all busts. I mean, he was on our all Dolly Parton team, among the biggest busts. Jets take him, and they did they take him before Tristan Wirfs got drafted? Lubie, you're a draft expert here.
I don't know if it was the same. Was it the same?
I mean, they might have taken him ahead of a guy that's like a perennial Pro Bowler, who's been an anchor there for a Tampa team, and you never see anybody get by this guy. And he can't block his grandmother. I mean, when he's there, he's 6'7", 3-something, can't stay on the field, like 350. And somehow they move this guy inside. They make him a guard. And, it wouldn't be necessarily a great spot to have a 6'7" guy in front of Jalen Hurts, who's like 5'7". And it works. I mean, this guy would. Well, I mean, by comparison to Becton, I usually see a guy that looks like. I keep referencing this guy because he was like the prototype grade C Dolphins offensive lineman, Chuck Klingbeil, a real good guy. Remember?
Yes.
But I think it was in the Shula days. He was desperate and he needed a guard. And the guy actually was a pretty functional guy, but that's usually the guy you see, some kind of grunt type that's on the inside. It looks like George Chavallo after he got knocked out a few times. Jerry Quarry. And so that was a bold move. I mean, who thought this guy could play on the inside? Usually those kind of guys don't have the moves to be in there, and it worked. And
when you got
an unbelievable offensive line for Barkley to run behind.
When you got somebody like Sirianni, he's got Angel on his shoulder, and he got moves that they're going to work. Now, if another guy did that, let's say that's Shula, but Andy Reid did that, he wouldn't have the same impact that Sirianni did for whatever reason. He really had an angel on his shoulder, and
I liked him after the game. Unless he's just a full of shit football also, because
I love the fact that he
whole thing about. I mean, it was very Mike McDaniel-esque, but what was different about it was he actually had the credentials for you to say, okay, this guy figured some things out. He went ahead and gave other guys the entitlement to go ahead and do their thing as coordinators. And a lot of people would say, well, he's not even really coaching. They think maybe it's like Deion Sanders or something in Colorado, or Dan Campbell. And yet, I mean, he delegated this authority and still seemed to have control of the team.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I had much more respect for him. He seemed like a bit of a goofball.
Me too. I had more respect for him after this game.
Yeah. And I really liked the way, I mean, A.J. Brown, diva receiver, you're thinking, and he comes on. He couldn't have been any more humble. Now, granted, it was in the aftermath of winning the Super Bowl championship, which, if you think about it, well, I mean, I know we always, and I believe it is true, that the most arduous championship road to endure is the Stanley Cup. And we saw what that's like. I mean, when the Panthers got the shit beat out of them through 3 rounds and then ended up against Las Vegas, and like their healthiest player had a broken pelvis. Oh, really? He's out there with a broken back. He's playing, and then it took that for them to come back the next year and win. So you would have to say, what, Stanley Cup is about?
Oh yeah, Stanley Cup by far.
But the Super Bowl is no cakewalk.
No, it ain't easy.
My God, think about that. I mean, these guys were schwitzing out there in July, Tony, and then play 17 regular season games where on every play there's every 3 plays there's a stoppage. Somebody's down on the field.
Yeah.
And rolling.
You need 2 teams. You need 4 teams. You need two on defense, 2 on offense, to exchange players. And if that's not the case, you're going to get beat. You're going to get beat more often than not.
Yeah, it was a great season. I was thinking about how much money you think the NFL made last year. I mean, does anybody have the bottom line on that? That had to be like a record year financial windfall for the national.
That is a secret that nobody else will know.
I mean, Goodell, he's probably getting like a minor nickel and dime percentage to $60 million in salary.
The NFL
regulating and administrating. Can you fail in this spot? Is that the easiest job in all the sports? NFL commissioner? You just shrug off everything, and they bow at your feet with wheelbarrows full of cash for whatever it is that you're selling. It doesn't even matter, right? They're going to have games on the Weather Channel pretty soon. I mean, it's crazy.
They're going to have
68 degrees in Minneapolis, and here's the kickoff.
Yeah.
Like, how did they get the game? Well, you know how you are with the remote. Where the fuck is the ball game? All right, let's bring on Ed Garcia, Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Speaking of football, because it's never too soon, Lubie. You know this, and Tony, to start talking about the draft. Ed, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. How are you guys this morning?
Where are you, Ed?
Where are you? That's the question.
I'm actually en route to the Space Coast. I'm going to be hanging out in Melbourne, Florida the next 2 days.
Very nice, man. How's that place going? I mean, that may be my hometown location for Texas Roadhouse in the future. Thinking about it, how's it going up there?
It's going very, very well. We're blessed with 3 Texas Roadhouses, all around the Space Coast area. We are working on Titusville to add a 4th one, but what's great about Melbourne, I mean, you're a driver away, from the ocean, so it's nice. You get that nice ocean breeze. It's a great location, and you're guaranteed to get that fresh baked bread and cut steak just like any other Texas Roadhouse.
You know, as you're pulling into, I mean, look, the Turnpike and 95 in that area, not exactly like spectacular from a viewing standpoint, but I always roll my windows down now when I'm headed in that direction because
There
you
you
get the aroma of that fresh baked bread. I mean, and it permeates the entire area, man.
Fresh baked bread.
Until you get to the ocean. Let me ask you this, Ed Garcia, with your knowledge of college football, and you know, naturally, I'm looking at mock drafts immediately after the season was over. And I mean, is everybody in agreement here? Will Cam Ward be taken number 1 overall? Can you bet your mortgage payment, whatever you want to wager on it? Will he be number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans?
I would say yes. I think that is a for sure bet. You know, Sanders, you know, as far as the quarterback, I mean, I think Cam Ward's got the top spot on that one. You know, Abdul Carter's shown a little bit of promise, but I mean, I think if I had that first choice, I for sure would go with Cam Ward.
Hey, Ed, what about Davey?
Sure.
Davey?
Hey, we're still working on it. But this is the thing with real estate. You know, we have 2 spots. It's flip-flopping back and forth. We got a little bit of communication on it last week. You know, fun fact, you know, I did work on Sebring. Sebring is coming together. I know that's in the middle of nowhere, but I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that one yet. They really want Texas Roadhouse. And, you know, but anyway, but Davey is slowly coming together.
You got to get Tony a car. That's or a driver. I mean, locations.
Take me up there.
All right, and give us a player. I'm already mock drafting here, and well, I stole this from somebody else. Of course, I didn't really have any knowledge or insight into this. Luther Burden III. I don't know. Did you see this guy? Wide receiver, Missouri.
He's great.
Lubie's got him coming to the Miami Dolphins, figuring that the Tyreek Hill story is going to blow up and that Tyreek's going to get out of here.
Tyreek is done.
You think so?
Oh, really? Okay.
All right. What do you think, Ed? I mean, will we see Tyreek Hill in a Dolphin uniform this year? And if not, does this guy not fit the bill? I don't know. Did you see him against Michigan? Luther Burden III. Supposedly, I mean, you used to do this all the time, Tony, too, because weren't you part of these WIOD draft shows where you know you would have to put together a feature on the top 100 guys in the draft?
200
guys. Get that Joel Bushbaum book that had the description. It was like a 6'5" speedster with one-cut ability. And you're like, what the hell is one-cut ability? But that's what it said about this guy. He's like a one-cut wide receiver, perfect for that slant pattern. You know anything about this guy, Ed? What do you think? And will Tyreek Hill be a Dolphin?
Well, I don't know much about him, but Tyreek Hill, you know, his post-game interviews and things like that, you know, definitely signals he wants out of the uniform. But, you know, the general manager, Chris, he's confirmed that Hill has not officially requested a trade, but I think he's fishing. He's fishing for a little bit more money. He's fishing for a better O-line. You know, prediction where he's going to end up, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, if I had to vote and put money on it, I think Hill will not be in the Dolphin uniform coming this fall.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Any immortal words of the late, great Gordon Soley. There you have it. No Hill. You're in agreement, Tony. Lubie, yes. What do you say, Lubie?
I mean, it depends on what you can get for him. And again, he's under contract. So, like, you'd have to be able to trade him. And you're not trading him for nothing. So, he's walked back a lot of his comments. My issue with him is I just don't think it fits. Like, I think a guy like Luther Burden would be perfect. They need a big receiver. The problem is, get drafted. Luther Burden's going to probably go mid to late first round. Like,
well, that's what
to go get a receiver in the first round, to me, with all that they need. You just watched a team dominate by drafting, like, every guy in that defensive line they drafted. Like, I know you're talking about they did this and that, and the offensive line, maybe the defensive line's all draftees. Josh Swell's a draftee, Brandon Graham's a draftee, Davis is a draftee, Carter draftee. Like, the defensive line and the offensive line are the biggest issues on this team. And in the first round, if you're, especially in the middle of the round, you can get one of the better offensive linemen, you can get one of the better defensive linemen. So to go and get a receiver there, that's a luxury pick to me. They need a big receiver. They do. but John Smith showed a lot for a guy. He showed that he had size to make completions on third down, to make completions in the red zone. I've wanted a big receiver for this team for a while, but to go and get a receiver in the middle of the first round, I just think it's sort of stupid.
It's
Just
stupid.
blew up my mock draft board.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to ruin your mind. I like Luther Burden. If they drafted him, I'd be happy. I just think it's a luxury pick that this team can't afford. Like, you just saw what happened. Like, you need to build through the lines. It's what Greer hasn't done. I agree with you. Greer Love is a stupid ass pick. This screams
a
Greer.
Kickin Junior pick.
But like, this is like, that's not what the Dolphins need. Look at the man we're talking to. You didn't ask him what his team needs because they have freaking everything. They just need to be goddamn healthy, and the Lions would be my favorite to win the Super Bowl next year. Like, look what they did. They did it quietly, and they built offensive and defensive line. Outside of the Eagles, they have the best offensive and defensive line. In football, Aiden Hutchinson was just freaking hurt. Like, if Aiden Hutchinson isn't hurt, the Eagles aren't in that game. Like, take a page out of the Lions and the Eagles playbook, please, Chris Greer. I don't care what the mock drafts say. They want fun. They want sizzle. I don't. I would actually be. It's the first time I'd ever be happy to see some random dude from Iowa drafted at the guard spot, because at least they would be doing something right.
Isn't there some big slug from Michigan?
Yeah.
The Dolphins could draft like 13 offense or defensive line.
I gotta. Lubie is spot on right. He is spot on right.
Yeah.
He is.
We're always going for these finesse outside guys that tiptoeing around out there, running outside.
You got to get an offensive line and defensive line, make it.
And what worked too. I mean, with running backs and the resurrection of the idea that a stud running back is an important component was A, they're running behind really good offensive lines, and B, you were running what? Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley up the freaking middle.
You go back to old school. You go back to Greasy and those guys back with the Dolphins and the Shula, the great teams. What do you throw? 14 passes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and they ran with Zonka and Kick and Mercury Morris. God bless them. All
right. So Ed, now where do you turn your attention after the football season is over? Ed Garcia with us here from Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. He's on the phone because he's always on the road. This guy is a busy man. And for good reason, because, wow, I mean, especially with what's going on, is that tariff on aluminum going to affect the prices at Texas Roadhouse? My God. How do you manage in this economy that is suddenly like going, even more intensified in the wrong direction? How are you guys doing it? I tried to get a dozen eggs yesterday, and I had to bring a gun. It was fucking crazy. I mean, it really was. Yeah, you're like in fist fights, and all of a sudden it's the war at the shore, to get a dozen eggs. It's crazy. You got Don King out there selling them. Where do you turn your sporting attention, first of all, and then how the hell are you doing this with Texas Roadhouse?
Well, number one, it's summertime, so it's time to pull out the golf clubs and focus on my game, my mantra, and just try to get some balls a little straight, left and right. But Texas Roadhouse, I'll tell you, we're all about great partnerships. And, being part of the community and maintaining our prices and being that value for everybody. We got Valentine's Day right around the corner, President's Day.
Wow.
A lot of people don't work. This is going to be one of our busiest weeks of the year. So just a reminder, use that mobile app. If you're not good with technology like Lubie, then, go ahead and call us and we'll get your name on the way. And that way you don't have to wait that long. When you get to the restaurant, you can get right in, get sat, enjoy a great home-cooked meal. As far as the predictions, is pricing a little bit crazy, but we're not really making any changes on our end. We usually buy everything out about 6 months to a year, depending on how we feel on stuff. So that way, we don't have to take crazy fluctuations or anything like that. But we're looking forward to a great summer. And, we still got plenty of time. This is the best time to enjoy that Florida weather. So we're looking forward to having everybody in. And for those people that are in Florida on here, Monday for President's Day, we are open for lunch. Nice. All my locations, the earliest is 11, but most of them open at noon.
Nice.
Excellent. And the key to successful golf is to pick easy courses. Don't play any challenging.
That's right. Putt may be
I have more than a couple of sand traps. That's it. I'm out of here. No water, please. No water. No, hold the water. Ed, we love you, man. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Always a pleasure, and looking forward to dropping by a Texas Roadhouse restaurant sometime very soon because you guys do. I mean, quality to value to service and just the whole attitude and approach is amazing. So
We ought to
thank
all get together. We ought to all
We're
get
gonna come back
Good
together
stuff.
and maybe even do a show.
yeah, Ed
Let's
Garcia.
do it.
What a great American this guy is, huh?
Thanks, Ed. You're the best, my friend.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
That is an amazing phenomenon if you think about it. A well-oiled machine, Texas Roadhouse restaurants, where they can give you that feeling that they're not a chain,
Yeah,
but they have
they,
like
they're
400
individually
locations.
run.
It's
They're
amazing.
individually run, but they don't feel like you're getting the same thing you're getting in Albany or something like
Right,
that.
right. I mean, yeah, it's good the way they do it. Absolutely fantastic.
It's fantastic. You know, they got the niche, and that niche is what.
I mean,
what
you would think it would attract other niches. Just because, I mean, just because you have like a lot of bread doesn't mean you have to spend it all in one place to make yourself think that,
Exactly.
oh, well, you know what? There was nobody in here tonight. We had the whole place to ourselves. Yeah, because the fucking place is a ripoff. Texas Roadhouse jamming, man. Number 147. Your table is ready. It's
Yes.
unbelievable. Yeah, another great.
Listen,
all right.
you got to wait. You know, you go on the app and you see the wait, and you go, okay, I'll wait a half an hour before I go because.
Oh, and then you just show up and the table's ready. It's awesome. Yeah. No, how do you beat that system? That's fantastic.
You don't.
I'm up front here. It's like being Henry Hill. They just drop a table. All right. So where's your sporting attention going now, Tony Segreto? Are you watching the Four Nations in hockey? Are you getting immersed in NBA reg season? Baseball, pitchers and catchers reporting soon. Well, where will you turn your
Spring
attention?
training is my game now. So I'll,
Okay.
stick
Oh
with
yeah, spring training.
Should we all go to a spring training game with the Bleacher Brothers people?
I would. I used to love spring training.
Yeah. I think we should maybe visit that Palm Beach Stadium. It's pretty nice.
I grew up going to
way
spring
out there, way out west, huh?
That's actually
Yeah,
look,
that's
forget
my-
Marlins exist. Go back to pre-Marlins, where
Yeah.
spring training was what mattered down here.
There you go.
Just
Just
ignore
forget
that.
it. You're
You're
absolutely
right, Louie. That's it.
Dude, I used to
Their
love
slogan for the season. He's a marketing genius.
Before
Miami
they
Marlins,
came.
forget we exist.
You know, I
Are they using that as a campaign?
Forget we exist.
Forget we exist. You'll see the sign. It won't even have to have the Marlins logo on it. You'll know exactly. what
Oh God.
Billboards on 95. We should get
The
hired.
Marlins. Who are they?
Well, honestly, again, I used to love spring training, and then we got the Marlins, so
I
we
did
stopped
too.
talking about
I
spring
liked
training. But
You know,
Go to a game. You're hanging out. It's not all. You don't have all this
how-
intensity. I even caught a game in Palm Beach when Tim Tebow had a bat, a nice
Yeah,
cheap
Mets,
fly
yeah.
out to left field. You would have thought that he hit number 756. Unbelievable. Fucking Tebow, man. That was, I mean, what was that up there with Danny Ainge? No, Danny Ainge actually played in the major leagues, didn't he? Who
he
were
did.
guys that
Jordan, it was like Jordan.
I mean,
It was
Jordan
Jordan-esque.
didn't like much of a ball
Yes.
player.
Yeah.
Although there were people in the documentaries about Jordan's baseball, period of time there. What was the name of the thing that he had? The 10-part series. And they thought, had he played baseball his whole life, and possibly that's true, right? Maybe he would have been a pro baseball player of the same caliber as he was as a basketball player. But it didn't look like much. Sonny Hirsch gave him a base hit. Remember Sonny was the official scorer at Hard Rock
yes,
Stadium?
he did. Yes, he did. Give him a base
So
hit.
it was like Joe Robbie back then, and they had this exhibition with the White Sox. They were trying to, I guess it was a test. I don't know what kind of real actual test it could have been for what the market's response to baseball was going to be. But nonetheless, they had like 2 games that they played here prior to the Marlins coming into existence or being awarded a franchise. And one featured Jordan, and he hit a chopper to third that was just completely butchered by the third baseman. I mean, it wasn't exactly like
I
Ken
remember.
Moyer was out there. And Sonny gave him a fucking base hit. I was sitting next to him like, you got to be kidding me, Sonny. You just wilted under pressure here.
One. This is.
And he
old-
was such a stickler for doing it the right way or the right call or whatever, crediting the guy with the right amount of yards.
This is an old school show, right?
Yeah.
One show we're doing an entire hour on Sonny Hirsch.
Oh, you've done a lot.
Oh, you know what? I mean, people wouldn't believe the weird quirks and idiosyncrasies of Sonny Hirsch.
Oh my God!
While doing a ball game, though, I mean, it was great because he's calling a game and he's not missing a thing. Like literally, he's paying zero attention to the fucking game.
And he had
And he had his score phone out, which was around at the time, and he's got bets on every game. And I may not just have been his bets because remember, I mean, he had that whole bookmaking thing going, and I believe I don't know. Did he beat those charges somehow? What happened there? They dropped the charges mysteriously.
I don't know, but I think I told you the story once before.
Yeah, he'd be checking his phone the whole time, to see updates on Major League Baseball games that he had action on while he's sitting there in the stands at Marklight Stadium and still calling the game as it's going on.
Yeah, I made the bets through him, and they won. My parents won the bets, so my father says, "When do we collect the money?" And I looked up at the screen, and Sonny.
Oh, there's Sonny, yeah. Taken away in handcuffs with a raincoat over his head. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Hey, wait, that's my neighbor. That's the guy I'm betting with. That happened to me on a Sun Cruise. It literally did, where we had won a bet on the Florida Gators. The boat came back. They couldn't pay us because the game hadn't ended while they were still at the 3-mile limit. This was a brand new thing, a sports book on the boat. And so, of course, we now have to go back out there. But that night, I'm watching the Channel 7 news. Sorry, Tony. And I see the bookies being carted out, literally off the boat. And they were arrested. They shut the thing down. And so that led to another famous story involving Gus Poulos, which
Gus Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was witness to the meeting that led to his rather unfortunate passing. Where I've never seen guys so angry in my life, and I'm there trying to collect the $400 that I had won on the Gator football game, and the Poulos was going to meet me, but or I was going to get introduced to Poulos, but he was with these really sinister looking Russian guys, and I was like, maybe it's not the time for me to ask him if I can collect my 4 sticks.
No,
that was that. Yeah. Who was the guy that was always? And I'm blanking on his name. He was a statistician forever, Steve something, and he did stats on every game, down at the Miami Arena. It didn't matter what sport you were doing. He was always the stat man. But he also was a blackjack dealer on the Sun Cruise, and that's how that whole thing got going. All right, Tony, we love you, man. What are you up to? Where are you off to? You're here. You're there. What?
I'm here, and I'll see you Friday at good. Stream, and we'll talk then and have a good lunch.
All right, thanks very much.
Friday, we love you.
Tony Segreto, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Lubie, the recovery was good from earlier this morning, man.
Wow. Yeah, you made it through, my friend. Good job.
That hit me, man, like a ton of bricks. It was unreal. You covered from my ass. That was great.
Well,
all right, I got to mellow my way through another one and then see what comes up next. So you're 3:00 even keel fish shack, correct?
Yes, we will be there 3 p.m.
Do we delve into some oysters today? Can we talk mayo into maybe a couple of raw ones? No. Or
yeah, we can do raw. We haven't done oysters at all, and with Valentine's here, oysters are known to be an aphrodisiac. Raw, grilled, they do it all at Even Keel Fish Shack. So yeah, why not?
I mean, you could always use it 73 and a hook. Anything that could create any kind of wood. What is that? Balsa wood you're packing now? All right, enough of that. Sexual double entendre. We will see you tomorrow with the program. We'll have the trivia challenge also.
Yes.
It'll be a lot of fun. And so look forward to that as well. Dave Gurgles Gurgley, happy birthday, by the way, today to Dave Gurgles.
Oh, it's Gurg's birthday. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Gurgs.
Very good. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Wow.
I will see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:05.
Let's go to eat a damn snack. Look what they done to my show.